Hey guys, it's Adam with Beasts of War, and I'm here with Dan Abnett from Black Library. I want to really thank you for coming and talking to us. And what kind of things are you working on for Black Library right now?
I'm currently writing the next in the Gaunt's Ghost series of novels, 40k stuff. That's the 13th in the series. It's called Salvation's Reach. It'll be out in the fall, and it's the next book in the sequence, obviously. So there's a big development in the course of it. I then go straight into my next Taurus Heresy novel, which will be the Battle of Calth. So I'll be writing Ultramarines versus World Bearers. The provisional title for that novel is No Fear, and that'll be very exciting. And I hope after that to start the long-awaited next book in the Inquisitor series. So I come back to Eisenhorn and Ravenor and have the beginning of what we call the Beckwin trilogy, which takes Elizabeth Beckwin from the previous two trilogies. So we end up with a trilogy of trilogies, and this is a story that finishes up the Eisenhorn-Ravenor sequence.
My wife and I have both read Eisenhorn and Ravenor, both the omnibuses, both really big fans, so that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. What kind of background did you have in 40k or Warhammer or that kind of thing before you started writing? Did you know anything about the games before then?
I did, yes. I mean, I hadn't played 40k or Warhammer when I started. I've been writing them for essentially since there has been a Black Library, so best part of 15 years. I was a big role-playing gamer in the 80s, so Dungeons and Dragons, Traveller, Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, and read White Dwarf a lot because the Games Workshop were the outlet for these things in the UK. By the time I'd gone to college and stopped playing these things, the game had come out, so I was aware of particularly of 40k, aware of the artwork and that kind of stuff, and so it was very familiar to me, even though I hadn't played it. And when I was approached, I'd been writing comics for the best part of 10 years. When I was approached by Black Library to write comics for them, and I said yes, and I got their world pretty quickly because I had that background, the familiarity, even though I hadn't literally played the game. I have since subsequently made sure I've played the games, all the different versions of it, to get the hang of it, and that's sort of where I was coming from.
Do you have to go back and refer to like codexes and things like that, codices, and go back and forth that way to when you're writing, and you have to go kind of give and take?
Absolutely. I've got a vast amount of reference material, as you can imagine, and I often go back to the editors and through them to the studio and ask for specific help about what I'm writing about and what I should look at, and Forge World also very helpful with that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of research, and I trust my editors also to make sure that I haven't made a fluff error as well. I mean, I do the research as best I can, but if I make an error, sometimes something goes through and somebody goes, no, you can't do that, and you have to tweak it. So.
Have you been to AdeptiCon before? Is this your first time?
This is my first AdeptiCon. I think I've been to a US Games Day or the equivalent every year for the last 15 years. I've been to all the UK ones. All over the world. This is my first AdeptiCon. Last year I did US Games Day in Baltimore, and this year they said, why don't you go to AdeptiCon instead? Fantastic show. Really enjoying it. Yeah.
It's a lot of people in predominantly one big room. There's a lot going on in the other rooms as well, but it's a little overwhelming in this room. And do people, I mean, do you get a lot of people coming up and getting stuff signed and things like that?
Oh, yeah, pretty much a constant flow. We did a seminar last night from 10 till 12 as well, so the question Q&A, we did a welcome dinner, we're going to do another seminar tomorrow, there's all sorts of stuff going on. But yes, just the flow of people coming to the Black Library stand. What I love about AdeptiCon, it seems to me, is that although there's always the great love of gaming at a Games Day, those are sort of a day out, there is sort of celebration. AdeptiCon is about actually gaming, there's the tournament spirit, so there's a really admirable intensity to what people are doing, and that translates in terms of the questions they come and ask you. They want to get their books signed, they express their enjoyment of the books, but they also have very specific questions which relate to the way they play the game, and that I find really interesting. I've actually gone away learning stuff. People have asked me questions that have made me think that would be a really interesting thing to follow up or think about when I write something.
Right, yeah, cool. Well, I appreciate you talking to us, and it's been really good, so thank you very much, and back to Beasts of War.